What is up, guys? How are we doing? So, the Coenen brothers, the GP superstars, Lucas is going for an MXGP championship, and Sasha puts on some of the most exciting performances ever in MX2. They're coming to Southwick. I got more on that, and I want to talk about Matterley Basin. Who in the hell was in charge of the water truck there? You guys screwed up so bad. Thank goodness none of those GP stars were injured by pure, I don't know what else to call it, but incompetence. But if you haven't used Nano Extreme, I'm telling you, this is the best pain solution of my lifetime. I've never had something that I could put on and it would wipe out pain. It's not addictive. It's not physically addictive. You're going to want to keep using it because it works. It helps with arm pump. But yeah, your arms are going to get a little bit warm when you start sweating, so be prepared for that. But it does help with arm pump. Anyway, head over to Nano Extreme, use code COOKSY and get free shipping. Are you running out of steam on hot days? You just can't stay hydrated no matter how much water you drink? Stop doing that. Head over to Complete Racing Solutions, get yourself some energy fuel. This is a custom blended hydration drink that Coach Rob has. Head over there, he's got some packs, and you can get one specifically that fits your needs. If you're shipping anything, use Precision Transport, a family-owned shipping company that really believes in customer service, reasonable pricing. They're just good people. So head over to pretransport.com if you need to ship anything.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So I saw on Instagram and I had to wait until somebody else put it out there. I've known this for a couple days, but every once in a while, somebody gives me something, but they say you can't talk about it, and I just despise when they do that. So I didn't mention anything about it, but now that it's out there as a rumor, I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. The Coenen brothers will be at Southwick this weekend. They are planning to come over here. They have signed a completely unique international contract with KTM for next year, where they're going to race like supercrosses, and then they're going to go race the GPs, and then they're going to come back for specific nationals when it doesn't conflict with the MXGP series. It's really cool. And I'm excited they're getting over here when they're still young enough to truly learn supercross. When you get these guys like Prado that are over the age of 23 and they try and learn supercross, it doesn't take. I don't know what the problem is or why, but something happens in the brain where it gets a lot harder to learn a new discipline as you get older. And this is a truly unique deal where they're coming over for Supercross and GPs. And yeah, if they do this schedule multiple years, they will burn out. This is a gnarly schedule, but I'm excited to see where this takes the Coenen brothers. They eventually want to end up racing over here, but they're not quite done with the GPs. Lucas wants to get that MXGP championship. Sasha has, he has ideas that he wants to get a 250 championship. And I truly think they want to displace the Lawrences as the fastest brothers on earth. But I'll tell you what, that is no easy task. You say what you want about the Lawrence off-track character of Hunter Lawrence. Jet is a freak of nature, and Hunter's pretty damn good. So that is a tall order for the Coenen brothers. Maybe they can do it, maybe they can't, but I'm excited to watch them try. But I will say, coming over here all the way, they were in England yesterday at Matterley Basin. They're going to fly all the way over to Southwick, time zones, crazy differences. And the big thing about the United States series is you get two 15-minute sessions and then you go racing. It's not like the GPs. The GPs, they have like 5 practice sessions. I don't know how many, but a lot. They give them a qualifying race. It's 20 minutes plus 2 laps. They are very dialed in on that track by the time the true racing starts. So for these fraternal twins, yes, they are twin brothers. There's not an older and a younger. Lucas is much bigger. Sasha is just this little tiny guy, but they are the same age. They are twins. And I'll tell you what, when Sasha goes out there in that 250 class, and if you're on the fence, just be careful. Nobody on the fence is safe when Sasha Coenen is racing. This dude is so talented, but he has the tendency to go a little bit over his head. He's crazy. It makes my hands sweat watching Sasha. And I think the idea behind this is they're sand riders, so they're more comfortable making their debut in America in a somewhat sand race. This is about as sandy as it gets in the United States. It's nothing like what they deal with in Europe. They have true sand over there. But I think this is the easiest transition for them, and then they'll know this track. So next year, if it doesn't conflict, they'll come back and they'll be really good at Southwick. They'll know the track, they'll know the facility, they'll feel a little bit more comfortable. So what do I expect out of these guys? I expect Sasha Coenen to do what Sasha Coenen does. He's going to go out there. Hopefully they let him ride press day and get him a little extra track time. But these guys rip hole shots like nobody's business. So Sasha is going to hole shot one of these two motos and just go bonkers. I don't know if he's going to finish it, but he is going to lead some laps and he's going to do something spectacular. That I guarantee. And now, as wild as he is, I don't expect him to put it together for 2 motos. Although, these last few races, he's kind of shown a consistency that hasn't been there all year. He was crazy, and now he's kind of like, all of a sudden, found some consistency. Watch Sasha Coenen starts, and those first couple laps, it's going to blow your mind. That I can promise you. Now, Lucas, he's a different story. He's a lot taller, he rides smoother, he has this natural flow. He is a special talent. I like watching Lucas Coenen ride. But look at the dudes he has to race against. Jet Lawrence, Eli Tomac, Hunter Lawrence, and an Aaron Plessinger who is on fire right now. So to put expectations like Lucas Coenen's going to come over here and win the race, I don't know. That's crazy. I mean, you never know. Herlings did it when he came over for Ironman. But they've got 6 days to fly over, get used to a new time zone, jump on a different motorcycle, because in the GPs, they have works bikes. What they ride in the AMA will be a little bit different than what they've got over in Europe. And assuming they get press day, and then they got 2 15-minute sessions, hopefully Lucas will feel comfortable enough to run up front. And my expectations for the Coenen brothers, here's what. I think Sasha will go lead some laps, look spectacular, maybe podium a moto. Lucas Coenen, I think I would love nothing more than see him come out and just put it to everybody and show he's, have one of those performances like Herlings did in Ironman. But that was a special situation where Eli Tomac was in championship mode. Tomac wanted to go race with Herlings, but he was trying to clinch the championship, so he had to actually be conservative that day. Tomac is not in that situation right now. He is going to go full send, all moto, both motos, and he is fast at Southwick. Jet Lawrence, he's just an alien. And to ask Lucas Coenen to come in here on 6 days' notice, not knowing this track, changing bikes, changing series, to win, that's too much. I would not put that expectation on him. If he gets on the podium, that'll be an incredible performance to come in off of the GPs, changing all that stuff, flying across the world in 6 days to get on the podium. That will blow my mind. With that said, he is too good to fall outside the top 5. That's how fast and talented Lucas Coenen is. I feel like he's so good that you could give him 3 laps on that track and send him out there and he could get a top 5. So that's kind of what I expect from him. There is nothing to lose for the Coenen brothers. There's not a whole lot to gain either. That's why it's kind of weird that they're coming over doing this, but they just want to test the waters. They want to see what they signed up for in this international deal when they're going to be bouncing in and out of both series. And Matterley Basin wasn't a good run for the Coenen brothers, and Lucas in particular. He has been gaining points on Romain Febvre. Romain Febvre was your champion in 2015, and this is probably one of his last best chances to close out another championship. He's 33 years old. Lucas Coenen is 18, and he is coming. But as this series rolls into a lot of the sandier tracks, that's where the Coenen brothers and that's where Febvre struggles. So Romain Febvre needed to gain points in Matterley Basin, and he did just that. He settled in for 3rd place in the first moto, right behind Coenen, and then he went out and won the second moto and took the overall victory. And he also made up points on Coenen in the qualifying race. And I love that they had that qualifying race and they paid 10 championship points to the winner and then 1 point all the way down to 10th place. So if you get in that top 10 in your qualifying race, you get championship points. So for Romain Febvre, this championship was slipping away. It had dropped to 26-point lead over Lucas Coenen. He stretched it back out. Now he's got 32 points to work with. They've gone through 12 rounds and they got 8 to go. So in GP terms, that's a lot of racing still to happen. But he needed this win so bad before they get to these soft tracks where he kind of struggles. Even though he won the overall, the story of the day was 34-year-old Glenn Coldenhoff on the Fantic. It feels like Glenn Coldenhoff has been racing forever, and he has. 34 years old. It was funny. The announcer, Paul Malin, called him 108 years old at one time. You'd never know it watching the way he rode that first moto. And he held on, and he gave Fantic their first moto win in the brand's history. And not only did Glenn Coldenhoff win that moto, he held off a charging Jeffrey Herlings, who went down late in the moto and ended up 4th. And then Lucas Coenen, who needed those points so bad, he charged. And you could see Glenn Coldenhoff was like, you know what? I'm not worried about the second moto. Let me empty the tank. I want to get a moto win. And it meant so much to him. The way he went off that finish line, that looked like an X Games best whip. I don't remember anyone ever turning the bike that far around on a motocross jump at the end of a 30-minute plus 2-lap moto. Holy crap, it made my heart skip for a second. Not something you expect out of an older rider, but man, that whip was dirty, that win was badass, and yeah, Glenn Coldenhoff and that Fantic stole the day. Even though he didn't get the overall, Glenn Coldenhoff was the story in Matterley Basin. And in that first moto, it looked like Hurlings was going to continue his domination. He's been racing himself into shape. He won the last 2 rounds, and he looks like the Jeffrey Hurlings of old, but he got arm pump. This track was nasty. I'm telling you, whoever did track prep out there, you suck. It was dusty, it was muddy. Yeah, that's a weird combination, right? It's like they flooded the track in some sections and then didn't on other sections. And it was a crazy, weird situation. Had these guys going through tear-offs. In the first motos, almost everybody ran out of tear-offs because they were getting hit by puddles. Yeah, puddles. But it had these really high-speed sections that were kind of choppy. And a lot of the guys were complaining of arm pump. When you get high speeds and choppy bumps, guys grip the bike a little bit more. Those are arm pump situations, and I was told that Hurlings and Lucas Coenen both suffered from arm pump in that first moto. I'll tell you what's awesome, though, is the big man. This dude is a savage. Ruben Fernandez. Whenever the conditions get scary or crazy, when it becomes a test of courage, this dude steps up. He doesn't care how gnarly that track is. He just goes for it. He's just a big, burly badass. I think he ended up 4th overall, but he got 2nd in that second moto, and it was a hard-earned 2nd place. I think he likes it when the track gets dangerous and scary, when some of the other guys are feeling a little bit uncomfortable, because Ruben Fernandez does not care. This dude just sends it. And you can see Hurlings after, dropping back in that first moto. He's like, you know what? These are scary conditions. I'm going to just ride where I'm at. I think he ended up 5th overall when he easily could have challenged for wins. But I think if he's not in it for the win, he's like, you know what? Let me just live to ride another day. I'm not in it for the championship, so I'm just going to take the 2 weeks off and come back in the sand, because that's where Hurlings, well, what's crazy is a lot of these guys up front, Coldenhoff, Hurlings, Coenen, they're all sand specialists. So Roman Fevre is up against it. He could lose a lot of points in the next few rounds. Check out Ride Strapped, goggles, glasses, shirts. And by the way, the shirt that I'm wearing, all you members will get one of these when you hit 12 months on your membership. This is the annual membership award. So the people I put up at the very end of this show, you're at 11 months, send me your address and size. You will be getting your shirts on your 12-month anniversary. So thank you for joining the club. And thank Ride Strap for being so cool and doing something like this for the members. Alias MX gear. Real soon, the 2026 will be here. So check Alias MX and get your gear before it's gone. Man, I'll tell you what. I hate to just pound on the track, but that first moto for the MXGP or MX2 guys was absolutely ridiculous. How do you send professional racers out there on a track that half of it's flooded and half of it's dusty? They were going through the wave section and splashing puddles all over. The guys are pulling tear-offs like it's a mud race, but it wasn't a mud race. They just watered it like, have you ever been to these fair races where some promoters never dealt with dirt bikes and he just wants to keep the dust down and they just flood it and go, oh, okay, ride that. It's motocross, right? You can ride whatever. That's what they did at Matterley Basin. I mean, come on, guys. This is MXGP. This is the world stage, supposed to be the highest level of outdoor motocross. And you're going to send these guys through puddles? And I don't mind like one little puddle here, one puddle there, because the ground is hard. The whole track had puddles. Anytime you got somebody behind you, you could just hit a puddle and blast their goggles. It was disgusting. I'm really embarrassed for whoever was in charge of track prep. For a series that doesn't pay their riders, the least they could do is invest in a crew to make sure the track is not dangerous and not stupid and doesn't have fairground puddles all over it was bad. It was really bad. And did anyone tell these guys there's a landing off of a tabletop into an off camber? Guys were landing on the side of their tires. They flooded it. It was like ice. A couple of the dudes landed and just washed out because there was nowhere to go. It was like ice. You don't flood landings, you morons. And then send, the world's best MX2 motocrossers out there to go full bore for 30 minutes on a track with puddles, and then you take the landing and ice it? My God, come on. Despite all the mayhem, Simon Langenfelder just dominated. I mean, he was so good. In the first moto, he got a bad start, methodically picked the guys off one by one, ended up winning the race. I mean, he was dominant. Then the second moto, got a really good start and just took off. I mean, he controlled that race from the front. And yeah, this dude has a big championship lead now. I think he's got like 52 points over his teammate Adamo, who had a really bad day. I mean, think about this. Adamo, 52 points down. 2 races ago, he had the red plate. Are you serious? That's how bad the last 2 races have been for Andrea Adamo. That's hard to do without like a straight DNF, and I don't think he's had a DNF. He's just rode crappy and made mistakes. Liam Everts looked really good in that second moto. He's kind of been missing for this middle part of the GP series. He was right there in the beginning, and then he had a DNF and kind of fell off after that, but he did really good in that second moto. Kept Simon honest, but he got second overall. And then Sasha Coenen, with his newfound consistency, ended up third. Great race for Sasha Coenen, and I was glad to see him keep it on 2 wheels because I wanted to see him healthy for Southwick. And reigning champ Kaida Wolf, the wheels have come off. He is 70 points behind Langenfelder in this championship. With 8 rounds to go, I'm not saying it's insurmountable, but it is very, very, very unlikely he defends that number 1 plate. He reminds me of Garrett Marchbanks on that 250. He's too big. He should have gone to the MXGP class. He should have taken that plate and just moved on up. The fact they kept him in there an extra year has really harmed his career overall. You've devalued him for moving into the 450 class, which I don't think it'll really devalue him because, I mean, you look at him and you see how he rides, his size. When they put him on a 450, he will be an instant contender. But good luck as his agent going in there trying to negotiate a deal when you're getting smoked by Simone and Sasha Coenen and these guys that he should be beating. Despite the horrendous track prep at Matterley Basin, the racing was pretty good, and I didn't see any major crashes. I didn't see any major injuries, but I'm not going to lie. When you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's scary. High speed, wind, jumps, puddles where you don't expect puddles. It was absolutely crazy. And that is unacceptable for a series who is invested in putting the product out there and making it look good. They don't pay the riders. They don't pay them for championships. They don't pay them for races. The least they could do is make sure the track is prepared at a world-class level. They should be ashamed of the way that looked on the world stage. Either way, I'm just really happy both Coenen brothers made it out in one piece, and we get to see them come over here to the United States and make their USA racing debut at Southwick. What do you think is a good performance for the Coenen brothers? Is a top 5 for Lucas good? If Sasha, can he get out there and lead some laps? What's good for him? Should he get a podium? Where do you see these guys slotting in? Their back is up against it, but they have no pressure. And sometimes guys do really good on one-offs where they don't have pressure. Comment down below what you expect out of the Coenen brothers. And I know there's some crazy European people who are going to say, it's sand. Lucas is going to beat Jet. I think you're crazy. I would love to see it because that's just a great story. I don't see it. Jet's too good. Eli's too good. If Lucas can get on the podium, to me, that is a win. All right, members, if you pop up on the screen right now, please email me your address and shirt size, and you'll be getting this shirt. Nobody gets these unless they're a member for 12 months. Email me your address and size. Thanks. I'll catch you later.